our headliner this evening. I feel like I know him because I listen to him so much on the radio. But our headliner tonight is Abdul-Hakim Shabazz. Abdul is a man who wears many hats. He says it's because he has a big head. He's an attorney, a broadcaster, a college professor, a political writer and commentator, and occasionally an actor and stand-up comedian. He frequently writes about Indiana government and politics. His main purpose is to give people things to think about they don't think about or they haven't thought about before. Let's give Abdul a big Sparks welcome.
Thank you. Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for everybody here at Sparks, for the good folks here at Redemption, and, of course, my good friend Yogesh over here. Who would have thought a black guy named Abdul and an Indian guy named Yogesh would be performing in Hamilton County anytime soon? That, ladies and gentlemen, is why America is so friggin' awesome and great. Thank you. I apologize if I seem just a little disconjointed while I'm up here chatting with you this evening. I had to play lawyer today down in Johnson County. So whenever I play lawyer, I'm always sort of in a certain mindset. It takes a while to get off. And it was weird because driving back, there was an accident on I-65. And so naturally people would think, well, the lawyer's first instinct is to pull over and help people. But so I could get up here, I just took out my magnetic business cards and threw it against the side. So that way, hey, I don't believe in chasing ambulances, all right? Thank you. But you're not here for lawyer stuff. You're here for this, American culture. What is it? Well, as I was sitting here, like I said, doing a little bit of research, part of me, and I apologize for this because I'm also, remember, I teach college part-time. So I had to do the college professor thing. So for just a quick moment, pretend to read. What is culture? Well, it's a learned system of behavior, knowledge, attitude, beliefs, values, and norms which are shared by a subgroup of people. It contains material, social belief, as blah, 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 blather, blather, blather. That's the generic definition, so we're all starting there. But what is American culture? Well, it's lots of things. It's baseball, right? For the most part. It is apple pie. And by the way, what is apple pie without mom? My lovely mother. So yours may look a little bit different, but it's, hey, it's everybody's mom. It's mom, baseball, and apple pie. But where it gets just a little tricky with us, ladies and gentlemen, particularly in today's society where everybody just gets so worked up and so hypersensitive over every little thing and outrage that shows up, we forget what our motto is. And the American motto, which has been, on our money forever, is E pluribus unum. You guys also get to learn Latin today. Congratulations. So, what the heck does that mean? Well, out of the many, one. And even though we all have different backgrounds, we come from different places, we grew up in different life experiences. Some of us have been here, since 1602. Some of us got here at 1602 this afternoon. That's military time for 402. What brings us together will always be greater with American culture than what pulls us apart. Now, part of the challenge is Americans, we don't take to change very well. Believe it or not, we really don't. It takes a really long time for us to change. When we do, it is big and it is massive. 50 years ago, this is your American family. Kind of a sort of a TV Land, Ozzy-esque and Harriet sort of thing. The average family has 2.5 children or whatever. And if you go to the state fair this summer, you'll definitely see the 0.5 in some places. I can say this, I used to work in a rural area, so there you go. Now, we're like this. We're a lot more black. We're a lot more brown. We're a lot more female. And sometimes, folks get a little nervous on both sides of that fence. And it's not just our race and ethnicity. It's also our culture. There are Star Wars people, and there are normal people. I'm just kidding. Darth Vader was my favorite character. All the time. Also, Darth Vader was also James Earl Jones. So, Luke, I'm your father, and this is CNN. Love that guy. Like I said, sometimes we get divided over stuff. Like I said, not necessarily just our race and our gender and our ethnicity. It's our pop culture. It's McDonald's, versus Burger King. And, of course, DC versus Marvel. By the way, Ant-Man and the Wasp, I recommend if you go see it, catch the matinee. It's not bad, but I recommend the matinee. Han Solo, it was okay. As long as you don't have, really high expectations, you'll be fine. You know? Which is kind of like American culture. Now, as long as you don't get too worked up, everything is good. Because the problem, folks, is people think we're a melting pot. You know, people think we all come here, we all have our different backgrounds, and whatever we were before, or whatever we are, we lose all that, and it becomes like this hybrid goulash stew thing. I've never believed that America and our culture were a melting pot. I've always believed we're more of a giant tossed salad. Get your minds out of the gutter. Thank you. Because I knew it was the first thing that some of you guys were going to start thinking. Now, why are we a salad and not a melting pot? Well, like I said, when you melt things together, it all loses individuality. It all becomes sort of this big, giant, bland, whatever this thing is that your grandmother's going to force you to eat, and you just want to get through dinner and leave. Salad, on the other hand, lots of different things, you know, lots of different vegetables, lots of different meats, lots of different whatever, but each one of those individual pieces of that salad adds to the total flavor of the whole thing. So, and that's what I like to remind people, you know, as we go forward. Because think about it, folks, you know, America's changing. I mean, that's just a fact of life. Today, you know, that's sort of our racial breakdown. 72% white, 16% Latino, you know, 12% African American, 5% Asian, you know, 1% Native American, and 3% other. That's about to change. Why is that about to change? Because in about 2045, America will be a majority-minority country, which means by 2045, and actually, by some guesstimates, it's happening a little bit faster and a little bit quicker, that by 2045, you know, the white population will be less than 50%. It'll be a lot more Hispanic, Black, Asian, multiracial, whatever. And because of that, once again, sometimes change doesn't sit well with folks on both sides of that particular fence. I mean, I remember my dad freaking out when Hispanics became the number 2, you know, minority in the country and blacks went to number 3. He was getting all mad and worked up. I was like, Dad, what the hell is your problem? Let the cops pull somebody else over for a change. I'm good. I'm cool. Jose, Maria, it is all yours. I'm going to the Columbia Club for dinner, dude. Yeah, but because of those types of changes, you know, we need to make, you know, occasionally some adjustments. And I think there are some things that we need to remember, you know, that really makes America an awesome place. Number one, we come in all shapes, all sizes, all colors. You know, I would argue we're what the world should try to be. Number two, we all believe in choice. And we should always respect other people's choices. As long, in my opinion, as your choices don't infringe on somebody else's liberty or property, I don't care what you do and who you do it with. And if I want to pay for it, you tell me where to link my PayPal channel up to, and I'll be more than happy to buy it. Just that simple. Some other things I also found out about us that's kind of funny is we are very informal people, and we love our pets. We have more cats and dogs than anybody else on this entire planet. Why anybody would have a cat is totally beyond me. It's a snake with fur, but this is America. We respect your choices. Which, by the way, my wife wanted to get a cat, and I was like, no, because there's only room for one selfish, self-absorbed creature to walk around this house, and you are talking to him right now. Thank you. A few other things about us that make us really cool. Unless you're my wife, we love bargains and used stuff. That's not a joke. We smile a lot. We talk to strangers. As evidenced by social media, we love sharing our personal lives all over the place. And we actually kind of enjoy our personal space. We get a little nervous when people get just a little bit too close. And actually, believe it or not, it's not just us. If you walk outside, there's somebody kind of standing a little bit too close to your car. Don't you sort of like, can I help you with something? Is there a problem? Yeah. The whole thing about our personal space also extends to our stuff. And I always love it. As a college professor, you know, when the students sort of get seated like, you know, the first couple days of the semester, when some new person comes in and sits in somebody else's seat, how people just kind of worked up when that person puts that water bottle over just a little bit too far across that line. You're like, hey, you know, back up over there. But like I said, these are things that make us really cool. My time's running shorter. Cultural barriers, blah, blah. You can read all that on my website. Forget all that crap. But here's one thing I think that made America the best awesome place in the entire universe. The movie, ladies and gentlemen, Blazing Saddles. Because in Blazing Saddles, they pull no punches, and everybody is fair game, and everybody has a sense of humor. The first time my wife saw that movie was like on a second or third date. She had no idea what that was. She was like, oh my God, did I just hear that word? I was like, yes, you did, and you're about to hear it again. Because, my dear, if more people watched Blazing Saddles and got over themselves, instead of seeing this nonsense, on television, on the radio and cable TV every friggin' day, maybe we'd be a little bit more like this. That's my talk, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all very, very much.